the task to get the ingredients ready. You'll be in your homes, and then you're going to get those ready, and then you will get the half an hour in which to prepare. You'll get a half an hour to do your mise en place. And once you put your ingredients in front of you, you will not be allowed to go and take an extra carrot or an extra potato if you spoil that one. So what you need to do from now is to practice, 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 practice until you get it. Clear, everybody? Right. So apart from the nice little techniques, we also add recipe writing. Now, it is critical. You should always have a book in your kitchen.
You are very low. I'm not hearing you.
I'm low. Okay. Are you hearing me a little better now? Can you tell me if you're hearing me a little better?
No, no, no.
Still low?
Yes.
Is it better?
One more. We're not hearing you properly.
All right, let me try and sort that out. Tell me when you're hearing me. Any clearer?
Hello?
Yes, Ms. Davis, are you there?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Oh, you're hearing me now?
It's a little better now.
Good afternoon, Ms. David here. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, it's Ms. David here.
Okay, are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, a bit kind of noisy, but I'm hearing you. How is everyone? Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay. Fine, thanks, Steve. Okay, we're good this side, and I just want to know that you're hearing me clearly. Somebody has some challenge just now?
Yes, I am hearing you clearly.
All right. So let me just recap. We looked at the batters and dough. Then we look at our wedding and celebration plate. We're looking at the categories that we'll be using for next year. We look at our traditional dishes. We looked at the nice little techniques. We were talking about the recipe writing. Now, recipe writing is critical. For you to do a good recipe, you must have a book, a pen, a pencil in your kitchen. Because when you walk into your kitchen and Miss Davis want to try a sweet potato corn pudding, and Miss Davis today she put in 1 cup of corn, crushed corn, or maybe sweet corn, and then she put some potato. Tomorrow she said, hold on, what did I do yesterday? She don't remember. It was so good yesterday and Miss Davis totally forget. So what you need to do is to have your book, your pen, your pencil. So as soon as you you prepare a dish, you're going to write it down so that you want to perfect that. So for the competition, we want to get some perfect recipes. Just practice. It's breadfruit, the year of the breadfruit 2022. Practice. Practice, practice, practice. All right? Now, 2 more categories that I'm pulling from the previous years are wines and liqueur and our condiments. Now, those categories, we're going to ask that you go ahead, you look at what you can do, not necessarily for breadfruit only, but you are going to be creative in how you prepare your condiments or you do your wines for the competition. As I said last year, if you start wine now, it's going to be young wine. But then because from last year, persons would have noticed in the handbook that for this year it's breadfruit. So I'm sure that some persons would have gone ahead and start preparing some wine, some liqueur, or some condiments with breadfruit, particularly wines and the wines, because the wine will take a longer time, you know, the process of winemaking takes a little longer time. So the longer you keep your wine, the mellower the wine becomes. So we don't want young wine. So those two categories we are adding to the 5 that we did last year. And I'm sure that I will see coming from guys here some good, very good products. Last year I didn't see you. And I'm sure I want to see you this year. And I'm sure Mr. Davis is going to be at you to say, come on, you need to think outside the box and get your A game where you can have things on display and you will be judged and you will be rewarded for your hard work. All right? I'm sure that most of you want to see yourself with a lot of medals and you want trophies and you want cash incentives because we do have cash incentives. Persons last year, they were so excited. I can tell you that there's a lady, she's visually impaired, and she won a gold. And to tell you the truth, when she heard she won, she jumped for joy. She did not even know what she got. When her sister asked her, what did you win? She said, I don't know. The mere fact that she won something, it was so exciting for her. So I'm sure that most of you, maybe it's going to be your first time. I want you to think about it and I want you to come on board and I want you to enter. Everybody understand? So that is for the handbook. Now, before we get into the demonstration aspect, I want to tell you of something new that is coming on board for December. It's a keepsake culinary arts calendar. Now, for our traditional products, most persons don't know them. And I'm sure Ms. Davis will have that problem with a lot of the students. Don't know a lot of the traditional dishes, how it's prepared. Now, for this year, for December, you can purchase your keepsake calendar. Now, it's a calendar recipe book. So it will be a series for 5 years, gonna do it for 5 years. So 2022 is gonna be the first year. So you're gonna see dishes, your stew peas, for example, you're gonna see a ginger beer, just to tell you a few that is in there, your Christmas cake, just to tell you a few. So when you buy that, because Chef and I and a few other members from the committee, we standardize those recipes. So when you get those recipes and you prepare them, then it will be perfect. So Ms. Davis, for your students, they are doing food and nutrition or food ecology, whatever they may call it now, then it's a resource material. You can get that, you can keep it, you can prepare dishes at home. Let person say, wow, that is good, did you do that? So you get your collection this year, for 2022, 2023 will be different recipes. So every year you will have different sets of recipes that you'll have that compilation of our traditional dishes. And I'm sure that persons will learn to appreciate what we have, how we prepare the dishes. All right? And I'm sure that when we get to the competition time, I will see some of how we do the recipe. You'll follow the guideline because those recipes are standardized and we want to see you do the recipe so we can follow. Because if somebody is going to be making, say, a potato pudding, and you're saying, okay, we put the cornmeal, we put some flour, we put some maybe coconut milk, and you leave the rest of the ingredients. It's incomplete. So your recipe, you know that the order in which you incorporate your ingredient. I want to see that on the paper. So when your product is done, you can say, okay, I didn't leave off the salt, or I didn't leave off the sugar. It will happen at the end of the day. Somebody says, oh my gosh, I didn't put any salt in there. So you look at the recipe, look at how you incorporate the items, and then you're going to put it on paper so that at the end of it all, when we put all of these recipes together and put a name to say that, oh yes, Dicey's High School, the name of Shelly Mae Davis, she did her nice potato corn pudding, and her name is written down below, and the recipe is above. So that's what we want to see. Everybody understand? You can open a mic and you can talk to me. Any question?
Right, so we look at
Any questions so far?
no, miss.
All right, good, very good. Now for the demonstration today, Chef Brown will we will work together. So we're going to be doing a hot order using breadfruit. We're going to use some chicken breast. You know, chicken breast is quick and easy to prepare. I'm going to be using some liquid smoke because we want to step it up a little. So because it's a hot order, I will not tell you that you're going to be using like mayonnaise and cream cheese. But if it was cold order, you could use the mayonnaise and some cream cheese. But then we're going to be using some mustard and some ketchup, some liquid smoke, and or peppers, fresh seasonings to do the chicken breast, and then we're going to be topping it on the breadfruit. Now the breadfruit I'm using, most persons, you roast and fry, or you boil, or you bake. Now what I'm doing today, I will not be roasting the breadfruit before. So I peel the breadfruit and I cut them in bite sizes. I put in a little light salted water and I'm going to be frying. Now what I will do, put on the frying pan with the oil, medium heat, then they are going to be putting the breadfruit in, cover the breadfruit, and allow that steaming effect to take place, and then we flip, and we get the outside crisp, and the inside will be soft. And then we're going to be serving it on, we're going to be serving it with the chicken breast. All right? So before I do, while Chef is going to walk you through the knives, what we use, what's the purpose of each of the tools that we have here, I will be preparing the breadfruit. So he will walk you through the knives and all the tools that you see on the tree. So over to Chef Brown.
Right. Good afternoon, guys. How are we doing this afternoon? Are we excited? Are you pumped up and ready to learn and to absorb culinary food in general is very exciting, right? And so whenever you think about food, you should get excited, right? I've been doing it for a little while and my excitement keep growing, right? So as was said by Mrs. Jerry, the first thing that you want to do before you start to do any kind of preparation, right, is to understand your tools. As in any profession that you will go in, your tools are very important, right? For today, we have put together a tray with some of the basic tools that we use in the industry, right? That you will find in a typical chef pouch, right? A knife bag. So I'm going to start from my right, your left. So here we have our vegetable peeler. Your veg peeler is used for peeling your carrots, you can use for your Irish, your cucumbers, you name it, right? It's simple, it's a simple tool to use, but there are many times when persons use this veg peeler incorrectly, right? And so for today, I will be using it to do the carrots. I'm going to show you just how much pressure to apply, how to turn this peeler correctly, right? So that's your vegetable peeler. Beside my peeler, I have my kitchen shear, we call them, kitchen scissors, right? This one is one of the little fancier one that you can pull apart. I want to do it just in case you get one like this and you fall apart, you don't think that's broken. So,
when I get cold.
if you're not going to speak to us, could you mute your microphones, please? Thank you. All right. So as I was saying, this kitchen shear, right? This is one that you can pretty much take it apart, and it doesn't mean that it's broken. It's just how it is designed, right? So to the back, it's a little clip, and if you flick it like this, all the way around, you can click it off. It's okay. You can go back together. So I just wanted to find that out, just in case you come across one like this, you don't think it's broken if it falls apart, right? Not all are like this. There are some that is riveted to the back and to the front, and they won't pull apart, right? But this one is like that. This is used for when you're going to dress, especially for your fish, right? I know maybe you're doing fish cookery and you're asked to dress your fish. You'll use this to remove the fins and stuff like that, right? Moving right along, we have a zester. This one we use to say if I have an orange, right? You just use this and you just pull it along the orange. I'm going to show you that a little later, right? And you get nice zest from there. Nice handy tool to have, right? Then we go in and we have a melon ball. This one is well known, right? To make your nice balls. And even though it's a simple tool again, technique is important. One direction, please, never back and forth. One motion, right around, and you come out, right? Beside that, before I touch the knives, we have a few more of the fancier items. These are what we call, you'll see the chef with these, they're called bushes and tongs, right? We use these to do the finer details. If I want to pick up something very fine, I will use this and I'll pick it up when I can write on my plate, right? Fishes and palms are tweezers in here that they go by that name. They come in different styles, different shape. I have two different shapes today. I'm going to show it to you, right? And they have their own unique purposes, right? So just so you know what they are, you're maybe watching online and you see them using them, you know exactly what they are, right? Moving right along. Our paring knife, right? Very important to have. Right? All youngsters, you should get yourself a nice paring knife. This is used for when you're going to peel your onion, to do like turnips. You want to have your paring knife. It's smaller, right? So you can get a good grip on there to handle your item with this one, right? And remember, keep it sharp, right? Beside my paring knife, I have what is known as a bony knife. Pretty much self-explanatory, right? So bony knife what we use now to do our fine bony details, right? They come in different styles, different weight in terms of the blade. There's some that are more slender than this one, right? But it always have nice pointed edge so you can go in between little creases if you're going to eat on a chicken or something like that. You want to have a nice bony knife. All right, moving right along. This one now is what we call it our bread knife, right? It goes by the name of serrated edge knife, right? Multi-purpose as well, but it's really good to have, right? Have its purposes as well, right? The jagged edge give you nice cut, depends on what you're doing, right? All right, and it goes through, like if you're cutting stuff like baguettes and those stuff, it really goes through that roughness for you. All right, then let's go to the chef knives now. So I have with me today two chef's knives, and I'm going to talk to you about each of them for a minute. This one is a German style chef knife, right? Nice and heavy, carry some weight, right? I like a knife, heavy knife, so it's less pressure on my hand when I'm working, right? So let's go through the knife of different parts to it. So let's identify a few of the areas, right? Can we be interactive? Can we ask everything? Does anyone know and can name any part of the knife? So I'm holding the knife, right? are you able to identify any of the parts of this knife? The floor is open.
You have the spine.
It's not the point, but
Guys.
that's a good one.
Sir, the blade and the handle.
Fine.
Blade and the handle.
Cutting edge or the blade. Yes, we have the handle.
You have the
And the blade.
Yeah, we said that.
The handle and the blade.
Another one, there are a few more. Let me see if you can pull any more out. Right.
It's
Tip. Tip. I heard tip.
Yes.
At least two more.
the edge.
We said the cutting edge, yeah. So I'm kind of giving it away, right? Because you pretty much got most of the one here. So I hold it here and I'm looking, giving you the handle now. If there is something else up here that you can give. Especially with this particular. The rivets.
Yeah, the
This one
rivets.
have rivets in it, right? You have the bowl stuff right along here, right? Good job. So I see you're learning, and that's very important that you understand your knife, because when you're cutting, it depends on what you're doing will determine what area of your knife you use, right? So good job, congrats on that. Right? There are many youngsters who don't understand the knife, don't take it lightly, understand the parts of your knife, right? So as I said, this is a German style chef knife, right? Clean all in one, right? So this one, the steel blades go all the way up and around, right? And then you just have the rivet that holds the handle here in place, right? Multi-purpose as well. So there's another knife I want to show you, right? This one you will hear persons speak about what is known as a santuko. So that this one is German, this is more on the Japanese side, right? So santuko, same build, it's just that this one don't have the rivets like these, it have more of these out here, right? The other, there are two unique things about the santuko, right, that is worth mentioning. You have the front is shaped different. So you see, unlike with this one where you have a pointed from here, the santukos are normally curved over, right? And you have also these jagged edge here, right? These really help to put in stuff like cheese, right? So they don't really stick to the knife. I like to use my santuko, especially when I'm doing my chocolate works, right? Works with a lot of cheese and stuff like that, right? Really comes in handy. Right, next thing we have is our sharpening steel, right? Let me touch this for a quick second. So the purpose of this steel is not to sharpen your knife, okay? A steel will keep a sharp knife sharp, but it won't sharpen your knife. If you want to sharpen the knife, you use what is known as a sharpening stone. Here we have one just to show you, just so you know what it is. There we go, beautiful, right? So for some you will use water and some you use oil, all depends, right? So this is what you would use to sharpen the knife. Once you would have sharpened the knife now, then you use the steel to do what we call honing, right? So you keep the edge, right? The angle is very important, right? So you're going from, we spoke about the heel, right? You're going heel to tip, right? So that's my angle. Right? And you're going here to tip. One, pull. So it's not pull. You will see chef doing this sometimes. If you're going to do this, then you need to understand what you're doing, because it's a technique that requires understanding, right? So you're starting out, go from here to tip. Repeat the process on the opposite side. Here, tip. Here to tip. Here to tip. There's anywhere between that 19 to 21 and a half degrees angle you're looking for when you carry out this technique, right? Yeah, that's good to understand. So we would have walked through our basic teaching tools here that we use. Any question as we move forward into showing you how we prepare some of these ingredients and do them for you. Any questions? Are we all clear?
Question?
Right, I think they're all good. Right, so we're going to go downstairs into doing the.
All right. We're going to be doing the canapé order hot. It's a hot one. So chef is going to be lighting the stove for me. I have some oil in the frying pan. So I slice my breadfruit and I'm going to be cutting in bite sizes.
Yes.
All right, so remember that your order is bite sizes. You don't want them too big. All right, so it's bite sizes. So I'm going to be cutting them and putting them in lightly salted water. It's not a must. You can do them without. So as I said, you don't have to. You don't have to roast and fry your breadfruit. What I did, I peel my breadfruit, then I cut in pieces, bite-sized pieces, so at least you can put this one piece in your mouth. So it's lightly salted water. So chef is preparing the chicken breast. So we're working together as a team. So with this, I'm going to be draining on my paper towel, take out the excess water, because you know what happens when water hits that oil. So we don't want any accident at all. So I'm taking these out and I'm going to be putting them in the hot oil over medium heat. Do this. So let me just mop up a little more of the water from this.
So in the meantime, what we have here is some chicken breast. So I would have put this in some nice cubes, right? We season these with some fresh garlic, some fresh thyme, a little salt and pepper, right? And then what we did now, we just sauteed this nicely, right? And then we're going to cook this because of course we're doing a canapé, right? So your canapés, your hard herbs, your pastinis, once you're going to do these, then you're going for something that is nice, small. Ideally, 1 to 2 bites, right? That's what we're going for. So let's want to cook this up nicely, right? Just so we can show you, right? We want to do everything ahead of time. We want to ensure that you get the understanding and see the techniques as well, right? Just want to dice this up.
All right, while chef is doing that, the breadfruit, I'm going to be taking it over to the stove. I'm going to put it in the hot oil over medium heat, and then I'm going to be covering that. So when one side is crisp, then I flip, and within 2-3 minutes, your breadfruit will be ready. All right, so while chef is chopping, I'm going over to the stove.
Miss, may I ask a question? Mr. Jerry,
Yes, go ahead.
is it deep fat frying you are doing or shallow frying for that breadfruit?
Shallow, not deep fry. You can do deep frying, but I'm doing a shallow frying just now. Very good observation.
Okay, thank you.
You have what you can, right? This is night side we have here, right? Let's spread it a little so you can see what's going on, right? But we're gonna mix this now with some mustard, some liquid smoke, right? We'll catch us just to kind of bind it together, right? And this is also a base recipe we're giving you. So you can modify this, right? You can add other stuff to it. What you don't want to do though, as Mr. Chair would have said earlier, is that when you're working with hot items, understand the whatever binder you're going to use. You need to understand that, because you don't want to put something that is has been emulsified, right? And then it's going to break on you, right, and create oils. You don't want that. Hence, we need to go with like mayonnaise and something hot that really, right? So you want to use something that can really hold up, right? And so I'm going to put this in my little fancy here, right? And then what I'm going to do, so the idea is to show you how we utilize the same vegetable cuts that we've been learning in a recipe. And so we have the chicken here, but this needs some life, right? This is just chicken, white and clear. So it needs some life. So I hand that over to Mr. And what I'm going to do now, we have some fancy stuff over here. So whatever Mrs. Jerry hands to me, that's what I'm going to prepare. And we're going to add it to that, right? So we're having some fun. It has to be real, right? You don't want anything that is look too much as if it's been choreographed. We're cooking for real, right? So we're going to be using some sweet pepper. So let me get off so your knife skill demo starts now, right? Let me go for the German. Yeah, going for the big guy, right? So when I'm cutting a sweet pepper, like for me, I like to take off the head first, right? And then I take off the stem because yield is important, right? So I'm getting maximum yield, right? And then take off the base, right? Then just go right around like this, take off the center. Good stuff, right? And from this, what I've been doing is some brunoise. I'm going to walk you through the brunoise using the carrots a little later. But just for this dish that Mrs. Terry is doing, I'm just going to do the brunoise with this one. So I will repeat what I'm saying, but just while I'm cutting here. For your brunoise, there's a technique to the knife cuts, and you're going to learn them very easy once you follow the particular technique. The brunoise comes from the 1/8 cut julienne, right? I like to do a really fine brunoise. There's a fine julienne that is at 1/16. So you get your julienne at 1/16 or 1/8, right? I like to get brunoise from both 1/16 and 1/8, depending on what I'm doing. But for this one, I'm good at 1/8. So I'm going to go right across the face now. Getting some nice brunoise from here. Remember, when you're cutting your vegetables, it's not about cutting fast, huh? It's about precision, it's about accuracy, right? It shows in the finished product, right? So I have some red right there. Some colors I'm going to put in some green as well, and some yellow. After all, having some fun.
Definitely, chef. Having fun. It's a team effort.
Same thing goes for the yellow pepper. When I put it like this, I'm able to get nice strips. Hence the reason why I would have used this particular combination. There. Right across the face again. Or Julienne. Then from the Julienne, I'm going now for the more. It should be fun, right? When you're doing your labs and you pack up your stuff and you go to fun, right? It should be that you feel weighed down and pressured down, right? Students, you let the creative juices flow, right? So have fun in doing it, right? I'm going to go and get some green. Okay.
I should let you know while chef is doing that, I went ahead and I turned the breadfruit. It's in the oil is cooking. So in a little while it will be out and we will be ready for our topping.
Good stuff, right? And so, as Mr. Jerry would have said, that we're looking at breadfruit, and so we start the ball for you, right? So we don't leave you hanging. Say, come and say, all right, it's breadfruit, and then we don't do anything. Huh? So we're leading by example. They will say, sir,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So we're showing you how you can use your breadfruit to do. And there was something else that we're going to do breadfruit that I haven't mentioned just yet, but we're not going to throw away our secrets just yet, right? We have to keep
Keep it suspense.
Yes,
Suspense.
yes, yes. Right, so stay tuned.
Okay, while chef is doing that, I'm going to be adding some mustard, depending on what you want. Some yellow mustard. You can use Dijon. You prefer. We're just gonna add some mustard and some ketchup. And then the liquid smoke, you can't use a lot because smoke, it tends to be bitter. So I'm just gonna be using a little bit and then we taste. All right, we're going to mix and then we taste. Right, so chef is gonna put those in while I turn breadfruit.
Good stuff, right? You know, sometimes in the lab at school you work with teams, right? Teamwork is important and it's good to flow, right? What I've found is that you put ideas from each other. So I might be doing the thing and then you can look at it and say, but even if you put just a little piece of paper in that, you know, it will hide in the corner. Or if you put a little thyme, it tastes good enough, but a little fresh thyme will bring it to another level, right? And so don't be selfish, right? When it comes to cooking, it's not a selfish game, right? You have to be willing to share, right? So your hands right over to you. It's looking good. It's looking good.
So color is lovely.
Yeah.
Let me decide whether or not we want a little more smoke.
So we're gonna taste.
I smell it.
My tasting spoon that we're
Yeah.
gonna taste together.
Yeah.
This is my spoon. It's not good stuff. Tasting is important.
All right.
Bon appetit. Right. Smoke is there. Right. I like the little it's almost, it's not acid. That was like a little soul in there.
Yes, a little time.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah. Good stuff. I think that's good.
All right. Now for the breadfruit, you turn your breadfruit because you want, as I said earlier, it's between 2 minutes, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, because we're turning each side. We're turning to ensure that we have some crispiness. Because we cover it, it will cook on the inside. So it's going to be soft on the inside, and you get that crispiness on the outside. You know, Jamaicans like to roast and fry breadfruit. So I'm just letting you know that you don't have to roast and fry, but then you can peel and fry. And then importantly, you have to drain it on your absorbent paper. All right? Paper towel, whatever paper you have, you're going to drain.
All right, so while Michelle is working on that, right, this is our presentation plate for our orders this afternoon. Just want to create a little centerpiece here, just something to give the plate some life, right? And so I'm going in again with similar technique that we did before. This time I have a leaf of lettuce, right? You can cut these into a cup that I'm going to show you the chiffon now, right? So I'm going to go really thin, but when you're folding this, please don't squish it. It's very delicate, right? So it's just a light fold. That's it. See how light my finger is? Just a light fold, right? Same thing when you hold down, just a light fold, and just allow the knife This is where a good heavy knife comes in, straight, right? Just go across the face, just like that. Right? And go one direction. So we'll try to do it. Right? There we go. This is the chiffonade, right? And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to go back again, grab some more of my sweet pepper. Then I'm just putting across the face of the sweet pepper, just get a little bit thinner, right? So I just take a little piece, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this one, right across the face to get me some nice thin chiffonade from here. Not necessarily julienne, right? Because I'm going a little thinner than a julienne strip, right? Going more on more of a chiffonade style. And I think I'm going to take all the colors on this, right? Eye appeal is very important. Right? Don't be afraid
Your
to
eyes
ask.
be first. Yes, chef. Your
Yeah.
eyes be first.
Definitely so. Don't be afraid to ask your question. That's why we're here, right? It's known that you ask a question that we clarify what needs to be clarified. Okay, that's why we're here. We're here to learn together. Right. So let's go right across here again. Nice and big. And this takes some practice, right? As with any profession, any skill. I won't put any green because I already have green here, right? As with any profession, any skill set, it's about practice, right? So what I'm going to do with this now, I'm just going to kind of hold these together. Right? I just want to have a little something to put on my plate, right? And this is just one simple idea, right? For the salad allocation, right? Just one simple idea. There are many other stuff that you could have done. You could have gone more advanced and do stuff like tomato concassé and fancy stuff that you could do, right? But I'm just showing you some simple stuff that you can do from home. And just go. So you need to place a little line before we actually go here, right? So we could put it like that, or if we want, we could actually create a bed, right? Any technique would work, right? Would work on this one. Which one you prefer? Go here, I will go with a bed.
Go there because we're going to
Go lay. All right, beautiful. So we're working together. It's a team, right? Teamwork, team effort, all right? And so that's the allocation using the chiffonade.
All right, so I want to show you what I pulled this one out just now. So I want to show you. I want to show you that it cooks all the way through. So I'm just going to be using my knife all the way through. How easy. Soft on the inside, cooks right through. So you don't have to roast and fry. You can do this technique. So we're going to be putting some of the chicken breast on it. There's a technique that is called Culinary that we use 2 spoons to put the product on the particular item. So I'm using I'm gonna get the plate to put it on the plate, with the breadfruit on the plate, and then we do the quenelle.
Miss Terry,
Yes, go ahead.
can we soak the breadfruit from overnight, or it has to be
Can
soaked?
you?
Can we soak the
So-
breadfruit from overnight, or it has to be done when we are about to fry it?
There's no need to soak it overnight because once you put a little salt, you can have it without. And then once you put a little salt in the water, it hits all the sections of the breadfruit.
Okay.
So there's no need to soak it overnight. The
Okay,
only
thank
thing, if you want to get rid of the excess starch, you can do that to get rid of the excess starch. But if you were to roast the breadfruit, you would just roast the breadfruit, peel and eat. All right, so it depends on you. If you want to get rid of some of the starch before you eat, then you can soak that overnight to get rid of the excess starch. All right?
Okay, thank you.
To add to your response, the technique for this one is more so critical, Because if you realize what she would have explained and what she did was, it's almost like a convection style frying thing that is doing, almost like a pressure fry. So the pot was covered, so it's shallow fry, but if you would have had the pot open, then you have taken a longer time. But she actually covered the pot and allowed some the steam to remain inside and allow it to cook fast. So you find that it's really tender when it's finished, and because the oil is in here, it remains nice and crispy. So the technique is really the star of the show with this one, right?
All right. So thank you, Chef. So here we have 4 pieces, and we're going to do what we call a quenelle. Spoon. Now the technique is to use a spoon, 2 spoons, and it's like a football, American football, because you're gonna hold it, you're gonna go this way and that way. All right, so this is how you're gonna turn, and then you're going to rest it on the finished product. All right, so I'm gonna be taking a little here.
And keep to note your quenelle should fit the size of your topping should be bigger than your base, right? That's very important.
So you're gonna have a 3 dimension. So there you go. And if you can see already, can everybody see that dimension? I'm going to be resting it. I rest it across. Right? So that's a technique that they do in the hotels. You put it's called a quenelle. So you use the spoons and you're going to just roll it along until you get that shape, that 3D shape, right? So we put it across. So, and any little bit of tidying up. Chef has the tool, so if you have any tidying up, you pick up, you clean, your plate should be clean, right? Three-dimensional. Right. One more. Because when persons bite into this, they're going to get a burst of the flavor, the smoke, the tart coming from the mustard, the peppers, the herbs, the seasonings. And then you're going to say, wow, what is that? It's something at this function, but what is it? And you realize it's just very simple, very, very simple. So you notice I'm just showing you timely. The quenelle, you just hold it, spoons, and you just hold. Use 2 teaspoons. Don't use that one bigger than the other. Use 2 teaspoons, and then you will get your quenelle. Right? So we clean up, ensure that the plate is clean before service. Because when you're going out and if they see a plate coming, they want to see something looking good.
Yes, indeed. So we're just going to top this off now. Say it's teamwork. So she would have done a wonderful job here with putting this together with the quenelle. So we're going to top this off now with a little garnish. So today I'm just using just scallion, right? And what I want to do is just go across the face and just to make a few cuts on the bias, right? Just to top of here as a garnish. We spoke about doing the chef earlier. It's a similar cup that we're doing this one, right? It's nice and thin. It's little shreds. And there are many different techniques that you can use with the scallion, right? Everybody is going to put them in a little ice water, right? They would have curled up for you. We spoke about the Shizan counts earlier, right? Or the tweezers, right? Because I don't want to have anything left on my hands afterwards. I'm just going to use my little tweezer here just to finish these off, right? And so this is how you will use this one. Just take up a little and you go in right on top. Right? Able to get some additional height, right, on there. So I go for each one. And I put my scale.
So you utilize what you have at home.
Yeah.
So
You don't
don't,
necessarily have to go out to look fancy stuff. I mean, if you have it, it's okay. But our very own ingredients that we use at home is quite fine. And these now you can, all depends on how you're serving. You could stick them with a few toothpick skewers, right? Or they could be presented as is. It all depends on how you are presenting, right?
all right, so this is a hot order. So, you know, persons, they talk about canapé, or this is one that you can use. So you don't have to go out to buy anything that is expensive. So you have some friends coming over, whether or not you have the liquid smoke, but you can put whatever condiments you have. They have some nice condiments on the market, use them. Use them in your product, taste. It is important for you to taste as you go along, adjust the seasoning, so that when persons bite into it, they will say, yes, this is good. All right, so we're going to be doing some nice skills before we do a final product. So chef is going to be showing how you peel the carrot and the cuts that you can get from the carrot.
All right, so we would have covered, we're starting out by doing, we did the chiffonade, right? We did the bouillon. We're going to officially walk you through them now, right? So my preferred knife today is my German steel, right? So key to notes, oftentimes the chef folding the hand like this. I want to show you these techniques quickly. There are two techniques pretty much that we use. This one that we call the tunnel, right? So it's just a two finger like this. So this is good if you're, say I have my product like this and I want to put my knife through. For instance, like this one now is the more fancier one, or the more familiar one, as a claw, right? So you can practice even now while you're at home. So your hand like a claw goes down, right? Once your hand goes down, the knuckles fold over. So you fold over. So the second joint here will have your finger, especially your index and your middle finger here, because these are going to be the guide, right? So you go over, you fold. Once you fold, you lock. And then once you lock, ensure that it relaxes. The tongue goes in. There we go, right? That way, when you're cutting, the knife glides along. If your tongue is out, like there, it's gone, right? I've had close misses, and many chefs would tell you that they would have lost a little piece of the tongue, right? So ensure that the tongue fits right behind the index finger, right? So I'm going to show you how to do just that. After I would have spoke about the peeler earlier, right? So this lightly, one direction. Now, please don't go back and forth. Right? One direction. There you go. One straight through. Go lightly. Use the product. Right? Yield is important. You buy a pound of carrot or a pound of cucumber, you are charged for 1 pound. So your yield and how much? It was.
If you're not asking a question, could I ask you to mute your mic?
Thank you.
Please, thank you.
Right. So that's my, so I would have peeled my carrot, right? Nice and smooth, just the same. So you want your carrot to look nice and smooth when you finish. Not jogged out and eat out from different angles, right? So practice using your peelers properly. As let's go into the cuts now, right? So let's say hello here or from the So we're going to go through and we're going to go from the small julienne all the way up to large dice. Right? So get this right. So get this. It's going to be my display. Here, I shall take this first. This one first. So what you want to do when you're working with something wrong is to create a base, right? So I'm going to create a base by taking a little piece from here. So now my product is flat. One and the board. Right? Then from here I take another little bit from here. And these are what we call edible trimmings. So even for the filling that we did just now, these could have been utilized in there as edible trimmings and in any other product. Don't throw them away, right? It's a part of the cost. You pay $100 for the pound of carrot, everything is money, right? So I'm going to go in now. Going for that 116 we spoke about, right? So there's fine julienne, so small strips.
And remember, your knife must be sharp.
Yes,
Very sharp.
my knife here is doing an awesome job because it's sharp, so I don't have much work to do. Right? So with this now, right? If you're not able to snap them together like this, because this does take some practice, right? Just go to one, please, right? Sometime I'm stuffing them together as I would have had some experience doing this. All right, so going now my claw, as I said before. So my guide here, the back of my hand, right? And my fingers are holding my product nice and firm on the board, right? And I'm going right along product. So these are my really fine julienne, right? As we say, around about 116 right there. So let's learn the technique to the vegetable portion. That's pretty simple. So
Sir.
from 160 here.
That
Yes.
knife cut is about 180.
No, 116 of an inch.
Oh, 160. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to do the 1/8 next. The 1/8 is where you will get your standard small julienne, and from that we get the Bony Ball. Right. As I said earlier, for me, I like to do a Brunoise with this 116 as well, right? And so I can go across the face of this, and I can get some really fine Brunoise from this, right? And it depends on what you're doing. Nice.
So these fine brunoise, you can use them in your consommé. Right? So when you have your consommé, these fine brunoise, it's nice to when you're consommé.
So this fine more accent. Other one more accent is so we see the difference in size. That one goes there. This is what we're looking for, right? When you doing your knife skills, remember it takes practice, right? It does take some practice. Right, so that's the 116. Let's go now for the 1/8. So the 1/8 of an inch, a little bit thicker, right? It's a little bit more pronounced, right?
As Chef says, it takes practice.
Yeah, so don't be intimidated and say, well, I can't do that, so I'm not going to try. Right? It does take practice, right? But you're at home. This is what I encourage all my young culinarians to do. You're at home and you're going to cook. Every time you're going to cook, practice. So you're going to cut an onion, practice. You're going to cut a carrot, practice. Let that be your practice ground, your home kitchen, right? We don't go to the market area and get the cucumbers and the onions and the stuff. Practice, right? So we're going to go with this now. A little bit bigger. This is the 1/8. So for most persons, this is where we generally start our julienne, right? So let's go with the 1/8, an inch. Right? Still nice and thin. You can see my board. then from this now, we're going to get the unwa that we are more familiar with.
Your icing first.
Yes.
And if you are preparing a dish for yourself, you should be able to put some of these spots and prepare it and say, wow, that's me, I'm gonna eat it. Yes.
All right. So I'm going to put this one here, and you will see the difference size, right? These are indeed a little bit bigger than the 160. Just looking at it from here, I can see the difference. A little bigger inside and then here, so you can see exactly what is going on. Right? Just keep it going. So 1/16, 1/8, and from there now we're going to go to a quarter, 1/4, right? So same will apply. I'm going to take a little piece from here to create a base. Right? All these are our edible chips. We just rest them right over here. It's great.
I can make some carrot rice, or you can put them in your soup, or you can boil it and make your carrot juice. Don't waste them.
So now we're going to go to our 1/4 of an inch, right? Right, and so you might be wondering what comes from, with your microphones please, what comes from the 1/4? That's where we get now our small dices, right? So we do the 1/4 and we go in again and go right across the face. Then from this, we're now going to take some small dices. You can see the difference, right? This is important, right? The fundamentals of knife skills will, if you choose to take on this course, it's going to follow you all the way through your life. Never leaves you, right? And the higher you go, the more pronounced your precision should be in your knife skills, right? So let's do now our 1/2 inch. So we're now going to go to our medium dice, right? On their hole. Here we go. We're going a little bigger at this one. And these are ideal now for what we call like our knives, right? So you're doing a platter and you want to have vegetables on there, right? You can go with some nice botany, you would call them, right? You can go ahead and use these on there, right? But let's go and get some dice out of these, right? Only 2 like that. Then get some. Falling right along as we go. So these are a little bigger, right? I have another carrot that I can use to do the large dice as well. Right. Stop. So let's go and go for the large dice, and then that will complete our stuff from the carrot. It's a simple formula for you to remember, right? You go from 1/16 and 1/8 So those are julienne and fine julienne, brunoise, fine brunoise. Then you go now to the nay, picking up that now from the 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. And then from those, you get the different dices, right? The small dice, medium dice, and large dice, right? Small dice are 1/4 inch, medium dice, 1/2 inch, large dice, 3/4 of an inch, right? So it's a simple formula. Once you follow the formula, you can't go wrong, right? But practice. All right, so let's take the large dice from here now, right? Again, I'm creating my surface, so my carrot sits firmly. Right, it's a little piece from there, so creating a nice surface. And sometimes you can go all the way around, right? So you end up with that nice square that you tend to want to have, right? Since you're going for large dice, right? There we go. So you can end up with nice squares, huh? Right. See? Nice and uniform, right? And then from this now we're going to get them equal. Yeah. And you can go, like if you're doing stuff like Mercor, right? We could go and see size on those, right? Definitely more pronounced, right? You can have that here just to show. There's also another cut. It's really like a loose cut, right? So if you do it like you're making a Mercor. Mercor is a mixture of, there's two types, standard, celery onion, and carrots. And there's a white Mercor, we take out the carrot and you add something like a celery root or so to it, right? But in any case, for your Mercor, you don't necessarily need to do a precision cut. So for that, now we do more freestyle cut. So you could say you're going for large dices, but instead of doing real precision, you just cut and you can do it loosely, right? Because the pattern is going to break down anyway, right? So that's acceptable in case you see persons doing that, right? So I can still put those there so you know that that's still acceptable, right? So that's it for the brunoise, small dice, medium dice, large dice. Any questions so far? Right. Okay, we're good. Right. So now we're going to do a turning, right? Another classic one coming from the French as well. You know, most of our techniques are these that come from the French, right? Most of these techniques. So for the turning, right, a perfect turning, 7 faces, right, on the 2 edges, right? So if you look at the way I hold this potato, when you're doing a turning, try to find a potato that's somewhat rectangular form, right? Mine now I don't need to take down some here because here's a little small, right? So I'm going for 7 bits of this one. So I take from the top, so look at my fingers, down, index up, right? And it's one straight cut. Mark, let me say for this one, it takes some practice. We're showing this so you know that these exist, right? Not expecting that you're going to master this in 1 or 2 people, right? As I say again, sharp paring knife, right? 1 clean cut, right? And each face overlaps the other. That's good, right? Going again. And I'm counting, so I'm at number 2. Each one overlaps the other. Number 3. Again. Number 4. Overlaps again. 1 clean cut, huh? Number 5. Again, looks like keep that nice firm hold on my potato. 6. Then this last one here. 7. Okay.
And remember, once you wash your potatoes, all those peel, you can use
These
them
are
for
good,
mashed
right?
potatoes.
Nice rustic mashed potatoes. So these don't go in the bin, right? And once you're finished now, right, you're going to clean it up on there, right? If there's a one face that needs to look a little more pronounced, you can always go in again, right? And you do that. So if I should count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? You can take out the 20 if you want to. Right? And so practice. You see, you can clean up your face. You get this a little smaller if you want to. We don't want this to discolor, so we're going to put it in a little bit, right? Yeah. So you're turning, and you might wonder, so I make this nice cut. What do I do with it? So this is not for you now to go and do mashed potato, right? So you want to do some nice roasted potato. This is ideal, right? We blanch this nicely, and when we do your potatoes, we do them, start them in cold water. Right? The idea is that the water and the potato come to the temperature all at once. So you won't find like a nice turning, you make a nice turning, and after you would have finished, you put that thing into the boiling water. And what happens now, the outside is cooked and it starts to flake away, and you lose the essence and the presentation that you actually wanted, right? So start in cold water, all right? Good stuff. Onions, please. Right, so we're moving right along. Right. So I want to show you quickly how we work with our onions. So say you want, if you're doing, you can do the same brunoise, small dice, medium dice, large dice. You can do julienne. But in how you cook the onion is important. There's a tip, there's a root end. Depends on what you're doing, you will remove or leave on, right? So let me do this first one by leaving on my root end. So I'm just gonna peel away. There, ways you can peel this as well. Any questions? We're all good so far? We're okay. So I leave my root end on. Maybe I could do the one and show what. Yeah. All right. So all eyes on me again. So here we go. So.
All right. While chef is doing that, let me remind you that you are going to be getting evaluation sheet to do before you leave. So I want you to complete that evaluation as it will be sent to you. So you're going to complete that evaluation before we leave here. All right?
Good stuff. Right. So here we have our peeled onion, right? So I'm going to do two techniques from these, right? I'm going to go right across using my toenail hole, right? So I put in two. All right, stay with me on this one now. So if you realize the grain of the onion goes along this side, it's held intact by the root end. So if you want to get something like strips or julienne, you're going to need to remove root end, right? If you're going for good wall, we don't want it to fall apart on your root end. So let's do those two techniques quickly, right? So I'm going to start by leaving on my root end, right? So this is the technique here, right? You go a simple way to cut your onion a little bit faster, right? More accuracy. You go across the face of the onion like that. Just going to go across 2 times. So that's 1. That's 2. So I made 2 cuts in the onion, right? And then starting with my knife at an angle, I'm angling my knife with the angle of the onion, right? And as I cut, I straighten the knife as I come up to the top, right? And so I'm going to 1, 2. It depends on how fine you want this, right? You can go small, you can go large, you can go white, up to you, right? But for the most part, this still holds intact. Yes, you would have made quite a few decisions, right? What I do here now is you go across the face, right? I can go small, those wall, right? Take that a little bit bigger. I can go with a dice, right? See, it's a little bit bigger. I can go even larger. All right, here we go. See? And this is all coming from the one onion. That big, right? All coming from the one onion, right? You can remove these over there. So here they are. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Beautiful. So you see, one side of an onion, and we got 4 different size of dice from it. We got good wall, we got small dice, we got a little bigger. When that's close to medium, right? And this one is more medium, going up to a larger dice from the one side of the onion, right? So we have that locked in. Yeah, I can probably see it. So let's show you how we will now do if we're going to do the julienne strip using the other side of the onion. As we have said, practice these things. You don't catch them overnight, right? If you really want to prepare good healthy meals and looks good, you know, when you come to the competition and you send in a recipe and you create something and get a photo and you look at it, we will know. Right? You go into a kitchen and you're practicing these things. Man, you have a master or a chef see you and he's look, yes, man, like what is going on? Right? So for this one, we want to do more strips. So we're going to take away this wood end that we had left on for the one before. Right? So pop that off. Right? And what we're going to do now is same as we did before, but only we're not making the incision across, we're just going to go at an angle right here. This now when you flip it, right? There we go. This is good when we're doing dishes like ceviche, like over Jamaican escovitch. Normally we do ribs, but if you want to get fancy, you can go and do something like this, right? So there we go. Put that right over there. If you had left the root end on, then you wouldn't have gotten it looking quite like that. I want to show them the chiffonade as well, Jerry, before we close out this section.
Let me also remind you that once you submit your names, you will be getting a certificate of participation for this session. You are on. We are certainly going to be sending you via your email. So let us have your email address, your name, your email address, so we can send you a certificate of participation. Clear, everybody?
Good stuff.
Good.
All right. So let's go, and do some julienne chiffonade, rather, sorry. All right, from this one here. So we did it earlier using the lettuce or the garnish and the harder. But let's see how we do it using, and remember, as I said earlier, don't push any pressure underneath that you're using. All right. So slightly right across the face. Leaf, your basil leaf, your lettuce leaf. As long as it's something that you can roll and able to make this cut, you can roll it. This is a nice finisher, right? Because it's so thin, it's really a finisher. So we use this a lot for garnish and when we're garnish our finishes, right? So right in the center there, we have some nice chiffonade. And again, you can go small. Right, now we missing any cut that we wanted to show. I think we would have covered right in this cover. So from this now, I think we can get into the second dish. All right. So from this now, I would have shown you how to do the cuts, but how do you utilize these now to create something, right? So as we said earlier, the theme for next year we're using breadfruit, right? So we're going to do a salad using breadfruit, Irish potato, right? And the dices that we choose were medium dice. So everything that we have is medium dice and carrots as well. So in interest of time, we would have blanched these, and it's blanched is simple. What you get your water, as we said, for your potato, you start in cold water. When you have finished, now you take them out and you cool them down, right? You shop them to start the cooking process, right? So here we have on this plate here, we have our breadfruit, we have our sweet potato, Irish potato rather, and we have some carrots, right? What we want to do with this now is we want to toss this with a light vinaigrette, right? So we're going to use some, what I bought here, let's toss them in here. Right. And for the salad, right? And for the salad, you can go light and your with a light vinaigrette, and you can do heavy dressing. It all depends on what you're going for, right? So we have this here, just for right. So this I'm going to add. I want to spruce up the thing. So some good one. Yeah. All right. So let's utilize some what we would have. We would have cut. Right. So. It's like that in there, right? It's right over here. I'm going to get some. All right. Same technique. You have learned them. Now just put them into action. It's just to show you how you can utilize the ingredients, right? When you prep them or what you have in your food. Goes in there, right? And we have a bowl. We're going to present in this one. We have some lettuce that is prepared already. Right? So we're going to create a nice bed for this, right? So thank you. So just lay it around the knife side on this one, right? So I'm just laying my lettuce right around the edge of the plate just to create and give some beauty as well. Right. There we go. So, right. So this helps to, instead of just putting the salad down in the bowl by itself, you give it some life, right? And so we have this. So this is how I created a bed, right? It's nice when you're doing like your buffet setup chats. Right? So I have a light vinaigrette here, right? So this is orange and mustard vinaigrette, right? That we made, right? So I add.
And just to let you know, you don't have to put mayonnaise because
Yes,
most
yes.
persons are accustomed to mayonnaise.
Yes.
And then interestingly to this, we have our chicken breast. We're able to also add some chicken breast to this dish.
Right. All right. We have some more chicken breast right here. All right. So then, this could go with or without animal-based protein, right? So say you're a vegan or you're a person who don't want to have meat, you could do meat, right? So I like to, when I'm doing salads, utilize my beef Jerry said earlier, we're accustomed to doing these kind of salads with mayonnaise, but it's not the most that you go with mayonnaise, right? You can change it up, right? And you can go with a nice light vinaigrette on top of that, right? And so you have a nice healthy salad, right? Right here. For this, you could top this with, say you're a person who like nuts, right? Some nice roasted nuts,
Yeah.
Jerry would go really well and
Nice crunch,
almonds, pecans,
Right,
whichever
or even
you
for seed and pumpkin seed.
beautiful, right? So
Nice
it gives you that crunch factor, right? Or you can go in as is and just have a meal of this, right? So your breadfruit, right? Your Irish potato, and of course, put in some carrots in there, and we utilize some sauteed chicken as well. So good stuff, right? And so these are just basics that we're showing you. So you can actually now take these and build on them, right? The possibilities are really endless as in regards utilizing these, right? And if you look, one more key thing to note, the sizes are uniform. So we went with medium dices to do this one, right? So the sizes are all uniform. And so these are some of the stuff that we're looking for if you choose to do a salad and in your recipe with there's a medium dice, right? We're going to be scrutinizing the recipe to see if what medium dice you put is medium dice, right? So workshops like these and sessions like these are very important, right?
All right, so here we have it. Thank you, Chef.
Now, there's one more cell that we missed, as I saw the orange.
Okay.
Let's show the segments, please.
Okay,
Yes, thank you. Right. Just one more before we hand you over to Mrs. Sherry, right? Oftentimes you will see segments. Sometimes we can buy them in the cans, ready-made already. But you're at home and you want some segment. How do you do it, right? As chefs, as culinarians, we need to know how to do it, right? Sometimes we leave those ready-made stuff for persons who don't have the time, I don't know how to do it, right? So typically for segments, we're going to take our cups. So I'm using an orange, 2 plates. Right. And what I want to do, this one now, I'm taking off the whites, but I don't want to leave too deep into the flesh, right? So as my knife goes along, pretty much what I'm doing is just getting the white out. You see my first cut, you're able to see the orange, right? So I do the same thing for the second cut. Just need to get that white out.
And again, this takes practice.
Yes, it does, right? All of what we would have shown does take some practice. And these orange skin, let me tell you, don't show them away, right, Mr. Yeah, you can dry these out, and there's so many things that you can. Hey, I dry the orange skin and then I put them in my spice grinder and I make dust from that. And that's a beautiful finish for if you're doing certain seafood dish. Yes, so culinary, as we say, is very wide, right? And everything can be utilized.
Sure, they're also good for your cakes.
Yes, there we go, good stuff. All right, so
For the cake, when you see they mention the zest.
Indeed, I should have done the zest as well, but I showed the zest. All right, so if you find you have like these little white areas that just take your paring knife, just go in gently, take them out. That's all you want to get from this is our beautiful segments, right?
Yeah, because remember that the white is bitter, so you don't want the guests to be chewing on that.
That is true, right? Generally, when we use a segment or especially to garnish a plate, it's very important that you remove the seeds, okay? You want to send a segment out on a plate with the seeds in it. Please remove that seed, all right? Then now, sharp your knife goes right in between each side, right? They will just come right out, just like that. So I say if you're going to serve that now, you just, there's a seed right there. Right? Just go in, Right? I take it out gently, and my sediment stays intact.
And interestingly, as chef is doing that, we're going to be adding it to the salad.
Yes.
Create another
Of course.
interest.
There we go. There we go. That's on the spot. Let me say that, Michelle. That's on the spot, right? So yeah, that's how culinary is, right? Let's bring that salad. So we get some of these in there and give it some another dimension, right?
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Food is not supposed to be boring, okay? You have to have fun when you're cooking. At least 2 more. So sometimes you find some orange that don't have a lot of seed. Those, when you find those, you're in good luck. Because there's some that comes with a lot of seed. And this segment here has 2. Beautiful. Good stuff. Add these to our salad, right? There you go.
Create some interest, so you bite into the salad, you get a burst of orange, burst of chicken, a crunch from the brunoise, carrot that was placed in.
And it will flavor because the vinegar itself is
Right.
orange base. Right. Good stuff. Right. I think that's it for demo 1-on-1, your knife skills. So I do hope you would have learned something from this session here. Any questions as we move on?
I'm sure that you would have learned quite a bit this afternoon. And I know that you are going to be utilizing these techniques in your classes as you move into the practical area. Some of you would have been preparing for, it's now December, come next year, you have your external assessment. So some of these techniques, you can use them in your preparation. So I want to thank you for coming this evening to be a part of the workshop. Guys, that's for JCDC Culinary Arts Unit to facilitate them in this workshop. And as I said earlier, I want you to send your email address so that we can send you a certificate of participation. We want to know that you were with us while we do this workshop. Tell me where you're from, whether or not you're in and around the Gainesville area or you're somewhere else. Let me know where you're from so that you will be awarded for your effort being here with us this afternoon. And Chef Brown, I want to say hearty thank you for coming. He's always like a content chef Brown to come and assist. Now, before I go, let me remind you again, the JCDC Culinary Arts Calendar Keepsake will be coming out soon, very soon. So I want you to put your cash together because it's a keepsake, it's a calendar, it's a recipe collection. And as I said, it's going to be for 5 years, it's a 5-year series. So for 2022, we are going to get a series. And then 2023 get something else and then move on into 2026. So traditional dishes will be there. So listen out, look out. JCDC website, you can call. I can tell you, you can call me anytime, 448-4408. You can call me, that's my work number, you can call me, all right, for any information. We are at 3-5 Phoenix Avenue. You can get information. We want to see you. We want to see you coming on board. We want you to enter. This year, don't be shy, because if the pandemic still stays around us, you're going to be cooking from the comfort of your home. So that makes it even easier. So you will set up your area. ensure that you have a nice background and prepare your items so that when you prepare, say for example, a salad like this, your family will have it for dinner. You will not throw it out. So whatever it is that you do, your family will enjoy that at the end of the competition. So once again, thank you for coming. Ms. Davis, I want to thank you heartily for asking me to come on board. So thank you, and we will certainly keep in touch. And as I said, next year, it's breadfruit. So go and look at breadfruit in every form and shape, whatever you can make from the breadfruit. And as I said, it does not have to be breadfruit that you are preparing for the festival, but breadfruit is our theme. So come up with something creative, outside the box. We want to see that. We want to see innovations. Don't think that you can only roast and fry breadfruit. You realize what I did with the breadfruit for the order? I didn't roast. I just peel, and I could peel and just go right over and fry. But because I want to put a light salt on it, I put it to some light salted water. So the sky's the limit. Step outside the box. Create something interesting for your family. Don't sit and say, oh, I have to go KFC. No. Create something, because listen to me. If something, there's a war or something where you can't get anything from overseas, what are you going to do? Be creative with the breadfruit. Work. Okay, work. So again, my work number is 876.
Yeah. It come on.
448 4408. So it's 876 448 4408. When you call me, that's my work number. So you can call me and get me on that number. All right. Thanks again for coming. Thanks for your participation. Send me your email address and your name so you can get that certificate of participation. Thanks again, Ms. Davis.
Miss Jerry, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chef. Again, on behalf of the Geisel High School group, family, and the community, because we have community members also participating, not just students. We want to thank you very much. We really appreciate what you did today. Some of us are just learning new things, and I think that they are at home and they would try some of these things. The things are simple, but it shows you that you can be creative. It makes the food look expensive while it's economical. And that's the main thing. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Because look at the order.
Really
Very expensive.
Yes, but you can get it at a 5-star hotel.
Yes. Very expensive. And look at it, just simple ingredients. Very simple. Very simple ingredients. So I'm sorry you're not here to taste it, but I can tell you it is that smoke in that chicken. Wow, you should be there. Nonetheless, thank you for coming, and I'm sure you're going to be trying some of these dishes and more for yourself. Have a good evening and be safe now.